Hello students, today we are going to see third number lesson effect of British rule. In this chapter we are going to study the effects of British rule over India. First, establishment of East India Company. We have seen that due to geographical discoveries, the European powers reached the Indian coast. All the European, including Portuguese, Dutch, French and British, entered the race for capturing the Indian market. In those days, Indian market is very prosperous, so all Europeans or all powers want to enter in the race of capturing the Indian market. When the British came to India for trade purpose, the Portuguese had already settled here and they gave a bitter resistance. Okay, when British came to India, before that only Portuguese came in India and they gave the bitter resistance to the British. Later, friendly relation developed between them. But to establish the domination over India, the British had to face opposition from French, Dutch and local rulers. Afterwards, Portuguese and British make friends, and then British had to face opposition of the French, Dutch and local rulers. Okay, now next, British and Marathas. Mumbai was the main center of British in western India. Now also it is a main center of all traders. They were trying to acquire the nearby territories, but the Marathas had strong hold over it. They want to capture the Mumbai and territory. Other territory nearby it means all Maharashtra and some part of the Gujarat also. After the death of Peshwa Mahadev Rao, his uncle Raghunath Rao approached for help from the British due to greed of Peshwaship. After the death of the Madhav Rao, the uncle Raghunath Rao want to be a Peshwa of the Maharashtra, and he approached of the greed of Peshwaship to the British. This led to entrance the British in the Maratha policies. Okay, in the Maratha policies or Maratha politics, they because of this reason, because of the approach of the Raghunath Rao, British entrance in the Maratha politics. During 1774 to 1818, three wars were fought between the Marathas and the British. How many? Three wars between 1774 and to 1880. During the first war of Maratha, unitedly faced the British and hence proved superior. In 1782, with the Treaty of Salbai, the first Anglo-Maratha war came to be an end. In 1782, first Anglo-Maratha war came to it because of Treaty of Salbai. Okay. Next, subsidiary alliance. In 1798, Lord Viceroy arrived in India as a Governor General. His objective was to establish a British dominion over all India. For this, he signed the subsidiary alliance with the many Indian rulers. He made the treaty with all Indian rulers, so many Indian rulers. According to this alliance, the Indian rulers were assured of British military help. According to that treaty, Indian rulers will take the help, British military help to them. There were some terms laid on them. The Indian rulers have to maintain British their army in their court, and have to pay cash or part of their territory to the company for its maintenance. Okay, for this help, Indian rulers will give the money to them for their maintenance. The ruler would not have any alliance with any other power or declare a war against any power without the intervention of the British. The ruler would accept a British residence in his state. The ruler should not against with that power, and they should not do the treaty with the other power also. Some Indian ruler accepted the system of lost their freedom. Some rulers are accepted that system and they lost their freedom. In 1802, Bajirao II signed the subsidiary alliance treaty with the British. This alliance is well known as Treaty of Vasai. In 1802, Bajirao II signed the subsidiary alliance and it is known as the Treaty of Vasai. But this treaty was not acceptable to some Maratha Sardars. This led to the Second Anglo-Maratha War. After the victory of British, there was increased interference of British into the Maratha state. But some Sardar don't want that treaty, so it happens the Second Anglo-Maratha War, and after the victory of British, there was increased interference in the British of Maratha state. This became the intolerable to Bajirao II waged a war against the British. Again, Bajirao II waged a war against the British. He was defeated in this battle in 1880. He surrendered to the British. In 1880, he defeated by the British and he surrendered to the British. In the meantime, the capital of Mughals was under control of Daulat Rao Shinde. By defeating the troops of Shinde, General Lake captured the Mughal emperor and gained victory over the Hindustan. In this meanwhile, what happened? The Daulat Rao Shinde was the capital of Mughals was under the control of Daulat Rao Shinde, and by defeating the troop of Shinde, General Lake captured the Mughal emperor also and gained the victory over the all over Hindustan. Now, Chhatrapati Pratap Singh. Although the Peshwaship came to be an end, Chhatrapati Pratap Singh of Satara was still ruling over the Satara. Britishers signed a treaty with Chhatrapati Pratap Singh and appointed Grand Duff as an officer to assist him in the state affairs. But later, the Chhatrapati was thrown and exiled to the Kashi. He died there in 1847, and after that, Chhatrapati Pratap Singh also dethroned from there and exiled to the Kashi, and he died there in 1847. Now we are going to see the effects of British rule over the India. Now first, dual government. What is a dual government? We are going to see. Robert Clive in 1765 introduced the dual government system in Bengal. The company undertook the work of revenue collection, whereas the Nawab of Bengal had to maintain laws and order. This is known as a dual government system. What is the dual government system? See, Robert Clive, it is introduced by the Robert Clive in 1765 in India, Bengal. The company undertook the work of revenue collection, and the Nawab of Bengal had to maintain the law and order there. That is called the dual government system. Okay. The ill effect of dual government system could be seen after the certain time period. Money in the form of taxes went into pocket of company officers. The money, whatever money or tax collection was there, that was go in the pockets of company officers. The monopoly of trade in India was given to East India Company, and hence many trading companies in England invited them. The working system of the company in India received criticism in England, and British Parliament introduced some important laws to keep control over the company. So many rulers was against it. So company or British started to keep control with some laws. Now first law, it is a parliamentary laws. According to Regulating Act of 1773, the Bengal governor came to be known as the Governor General. According to this act, Lord Warren Hastings became the Governor General of India. He got the right to control the policies of Mumbai and Marathas provinces. A committee of 4 members was set up to assist him. According to Regulating Act 1773, the Bengal governor came to be known as the Governor General. According to this act, Lord Warren Hastings became the Governor General of all over India. He got the right to control the policies of Mumbai and Maratha provinces. In 1784, Pitt's India Act was passed. Which act was passed? Pitt's India Act was passed. The act provided for appointment of permanent board of control for better regulation and management of affairs of the East India Company in India. In 1830, 1833 and 1853, new laws were passed by the parliament to make certain changes in working of company. I said you that company was for controlling the company, British applying some laws. In those laws, in 1813, 1833 and 1853, new laws were passed by the parliament to make certain changes in the working of the company. In this way, there is evolved an indirect control of the British government on administration of East India Company. With the emergence of British rule, a new administrative system got developed in India. Civil services, military, police, force and judicial system become the main pillars of British administration in India. After some forming the laws, there is the administrative changed by the government. So in that administrative, civil services, military, police force and judicial system become the main pillars for the administration. Now we are going to see those pillars. Okay. First, civil services. To straighten the British rule in India, there was a need of bureaucrats. Lord Cornwallis introduced the bureaucracy. Civil services became an important part of British government. He restricted the private trade carried out the company officers for the purposes increase their salary. What they started? They started the bureaucracy there, and he restrict the private trade carried out by the company officers and for the purpose of increase their salary. For the convenience of the administrative, he divided the British occupied territory into district. The district collector was the chief of district administration. He was the responsible for the collection of revenue. For what he was responsible? He was responsible for the collection of revenue, giving justice, maintaining law and order. The officers were appointed through the competitive examination known as the Indian Civil Services ICS. Okay, how they are appointing those such officers? By the competitive examination known as the Indian Civil Services. Next, military and the police force. The duty of military was to safeguard the British occupied region in India, acquire new territories and break down any revolt against the British in India. To maintain law and order in the country was the duty of police force. Military, for what purpose they are using the military? The duty of military was the safeguard the British occupied region in India, acquire new territories and break down the revolt against the British whatever in India. And police, they are doing the keeping the law and order, maintain the law and order in a country. Next, judicial system. The British established a new judicial system in India on the basis of judicial system in England. Every district has a civil and criminal court. Every district having two courts, civil and criminal court, to solve the local cases. For reconsideration of the judgment, high courts was established. For a further apply, there was a high court was there. Next, equality before law. In early time, law in India differed from place to place. There was a difference in a judgment on the basis of casteism. Under the leadership of Lord Macaulay, a committee was set up to create a code of law. The Indian Penal Code was enforced all over British India with the British principle of equality before law. First of all, before British came in India, before adopting the equality before law in early times, Indian law was different from place to place. Okay, there was a difference in a judgment of basis of casteism, and after that, the leadership of Lord Macaulay, the committee set up to create a code of law, and because of that, they passed that all are equal before the law. The Indian Penal Code was enforced all British India, the British principle, the equality before law. But there were some defects in it. There were separate codes and different laws for Europeans. But then also for Europeans, there is a separate laws, and for Indians are there separate laws. No, new laws were difficult to understand by the common people. Legal cases become the expensive affair for the community, and the cases remained pending for the years together. And it is very critical to understand those laws. So because of that, they become the very expensive affair for community, and the cases remaining pending as it is years together. Okay. Now next, economic policies of the British. Since ancient time, there were inventions in India. Many inventors settled in India and were observed in the Indian culture. Even though they ruled here, they never made any changes in the basic Indian economic system. The Britishers were an expectation. What happened? See, before British, so many rulers came in India, they ruled over India, but they not changed their economic system of India. But when British came in India, they started to change the economic system also of India. England was a modern nation. Due to industrialization revolution, capitalist economy prevailed. Hence they included sorry, hence they included the economic system in India, which was conducive to economic system in England. They want to make the economic system as it is in a England was there. They want to be in India also. Due to this, Britishers gained economic benefit, but India started facing economic exploitation. Because of that, British gained the economic benefits because of that, but India started facing the economic exploitation. Now next, land and revenue policy. Before the British rule, the village economic system was self-sufficient. Villages was self-sufficient. Their needs was they are able to fulfill their needs in their own villages. Through agriculture and related services, the needs of the villages were fulfilled in the village itself. Land revenue was the main source of income of the state. During the pre-British period, revenue was based on the type of cultivated crop. Revenue was the based on the whatever cultivated crops was there, on that revenue was selected, or based on that type of cultivated crop. Okay, the farmer was exempted from the taxation in a case of loss of crops. If there is a loss in a crops, so farmers are getting some facilities to extend their tax, to reduce their tax. Revenue was mainly collected in a form of grains. Even in case of late payment of tax, the farmer's land was not confiscated. Means they are not taking their farmer's land if they are not able to pay the tax. But to increase income, the British made the important changes. What they done? They are started to make some changes in a revenue system. They are started to change revenue system. Land was measured as per the area of the land. The tax was fixed there. Payment of tax were made compulsory in a form of cash, not in a grains. They are made compulsory form of cash. In the farmers failed to pay tax in time, then his land would be confiscated. Means they are taking their land as a penalty. The British system of land revenue collective differed from place to place, which leads to explanation of all farmers. Okay, that is a very bad revenue system made by the British rulers in India. Now next, consequences of new land revenue system. There were undesirable effects of new land revenue system on the rural life. For payment of taxes, Indian farmers started selling the crops at the whatever price it received. The merchant and the brokers started purchasing their goods at minimum rate. The merchants and traders are started to purchasing their goods in a minimum rate. At the certain time, the farmers had mortgaged land to the money lender for arrangement of money to pay the taxes. If crops are in a loss, they are giving their land as a mortgage and they are taking the money to pay the tax. Farmer become the bankrupt because of farmers become bankrupt because of that. In the case of non repayment of loan, the farmers had to sell their land. The farmers was exploited by the government, zamindar, moneylenders and merchants. Farmers was exploited by the government, zamindar, moneylenders and merchants. Now next, commercialization of agriculture. Initially, food grains were cultivated by the farmers. Initially, food grains, whatever we are eating, those food grains was cultivated by the farmers. It used to fulfill the domestic need as well as the need of the villages. Yes, but the British government started giving the more encouragement to cash crops like cotton, indigo, and tobacco. They have started giving the encouragement to the farmers to take the cotton, indigo and tobacco in their farms. The process of giving stress on a cultivation of profit giving cash crops instead of food grains is known as the commercialization of the agriculture. Means what is the commercialization of agriculture is the process of giving the stress on cultivation of profit giving cash crop instead of food grains is known as the commercialization of agriculture. Next, famine. Famine from 1860 to 1900, India faced a great famine, but British ruler did not take much efforts to overcome it. They not done any kind of efforts to overcome such a famines. Similarly, not much expenditure was made on provision of water supply. For water supply also they not made the provisions for the people. Okay, it is happened in a most it is happened in all over India, but their bad effects mostly happen in a Bengal. Next, development in a transport and communication system. From increase in a trade and convenience of administration, the British developed a modern facility like transport, communication in India. In 1853, first railway ran out route from Mumbai to Thane. First railway they done by British. It is happened in 1853, Mumbai to Thane. That route was there. In the same year, British started telegraph system in India. Due to it, all cities and military station got connected to one another. Because of the telegraph system, all military station connected with each other. Similarly, the British also started the postal system. Then which new things came by the British? See, first railway, second telegraph system, third postal system. Then due to all these developments, there was a long term impact on the social life of the Indians. Due to this, there was an increasing sense of unity among them, and because of that telegraph system and postal system or a railway system, unity sense of unity it is increasing in a Indian people. Next, decline of traditional industries in India. How the British government obtained a huge taxes on the goods exported from the India to England. What they are doing? See, they our whatever our goods is there, whatever goods made by the India, they are obtained so many tax on it, so it become costly. On other hand, very less tax to imposed on goods imported from the England to India. Oppose that, from England whatever goods are coming, they are keeping very less tax on them, so it become very not very costly. Okay, so it is become very cheap. It is become cheaper than the Indian goods. Okay, on the other, so because of that Indian goods become very costly, and that is not affordable to the common people. They are not buying the Indian goods. And also the goods manufactured in England were machine made, and they, hence there was maximum production in minimum cost. And one another reason is that in England there is a machine work, and in India we are doing a handwork, very nice handwork we are doing. So in England then machine work, and it is in a minimum cost, it is production where maximum, so their cost was very low. To complete with such cheap products was difficult for Indian artisans. To do such a cheap product, it is very difficult to do to our Indian artisans. Eventually it led to closing down the traditional industries and many artisans become unemployed. Because of such reasons, many Indian artisans become unemployed. Next, development of new industries in India. In such a reason, very new industries came started in India. Due to the lack of British support, experience of management and capital, the Indian businessmen could not came forward to large number. What happened in those days? Very lack of British support, experience of management and capital was not there. So Indian businessmen could not came forward to large in a large number. Yet some of them built their businesses by the overcoming these problems. In 1853, Khawazji Nanaboy Dawar started the first textile mill in Mumbai. First, 1853, Khawazji Nanaboy Dawar started the first textile mill. In 1855, the first jute mill was started at Rishra in Bengal. In 1855, first jute mill was started at Rishra in Bengal. In 1907, Jamshedji Tata established the Tata Iron and Steel Company at Jamshedpur. Jamshedji Tata, 1907, very uh, well known businessman. Jamshedji Tata established the Tata Iron and Steel Company at Jamshedpur. In India, coal, metal, sugar, cement, and chemical industries came to be started. Next, social and cultural effect. Which kind of social and cultural effect of the British rules we are going to see. In the 19th century Europe, a new era took shape on the basis of values like the humanitarianism, democracy, nationalism, liberalism. These changes in West led to obvious repercussion on India. For carrying out administration, the British had to understand the Indian society. For this purpose, they started studying the Indian society. They started to studying the tradition, history, literature as well as the music, flora and fauna of India. In 1784, Sir William Jones, an English officer, established the Asiatic Society of Bengal. What he established, William Jones established in 1784 Asiatic Society of Bengal at Kolkata. What he started at Kolkata? He started the Asiatic Society of Bengal. Max Muller, a German thinker, was devout scholar of Indian religion, language, and history. Due to this example, there aroused a feeling among the newly educated Indians to study the Indian religion, history, and tradition. Other British or other countries people are studying our religion, our languages. So newly educated Indians also started to study the Indian religion, history, and tradition. Then the British introduced many laws in India. In 1829, Lord Williams Bentinck passed the Sati Prohibition Act. Sati means when one woman's particular woman's husband will die, with that husband she should also take the jump in a fire, means she should also die. That is a very bad mm, bad, very bad mm, province was there, very bad social, very bad act was there of Sati prohibition. Then in 1829, that Sati Parampara, we can call it Sati Parampara, was exploited or a prohibition made by the Lord William Bentinck in 1829. In 1856, Lord Dalhousie passed the Widow Remarriage Act. In 1856, Widow Remarriage Act passed by the Dalhousie. These acts were responsible for the social reforms. For carrying, that is such some good things also made by the British. For carrying out administration in India, the British required English educated Indians. They want English educated Indians. According to recommendation of the Lord Macaulay in 1835, English education started being important in India. Through new education, Indians were introduced to Western thoughts, modern reforms, science and technology. In 1857, universities were established at Kolkata, Mumbai and Madras. Where they established the universities? Kolkata, Mumbai and Madras. The Western educated middle class Indians led the social reforms movement in India. Okay, here our topic is completed.